Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Chad Amond, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce.
Hello and welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, President of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce, Chad Amond. We are delighted to have with us today two people that are making a positive impact in our community, an issue that impacts and affects so many families across Westmoreland County and across the country, Alzheimer's disease. Brittany Coulter. Brittany is the event manager for the Alzheimer's Association, and we're also pleased to have Carol Trent, who is the event chair of the Westmoreland Alzheimer's Walk that is going to be held on September 23rd at Twin Lakes Park this year. So ladies, welcome to the show, and glad to have you on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Brittany, I'm going to start off with you. Tell me a little bit. Let's talk about Alzheimer's before we get into the details of the walk. Let's tell our listeners a little bit about Alzheimer's, the impact that it's having on our community, the impact that it's having on families, and just a general idea of what the disease does.
Okay, great. Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death and is the only one in the top 10 that cannot be prevented, slowed, treated, or cured. And every 66 seconds, somebody in the United States is diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Well, how prevalent is Alzheimer's related to dementia, not only nationally but regionally? I mean, I think that when you look at it, I don't know a family that hasn't had a family member that has had Alzheimer's. I mean, maybe it's a cousin or a grandma or whatever, but it seems like it's very prevalent. So the relation to dementia, talk a little bit about that.
So dementia is the umbrella term, and Alzheimer's disease is one
of the forms of dementia. It's the most prevalent form of dementia.
And more than 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's in Pennsylvania alone. There are over 400,000 affected by Alzheimer's disease or related dementia.
400,000 people in the United States that are affected by Alzheimer's?
No, that's just in Pennsylvania.
Oh, just in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Just in Pennsylvania, 400,000 people.
Yes.
Wow. So what does the Alzheimer's Association do? Are they doing research? Are they doing fundraising to fund the research?
Yes. So what we do as an association, we provide programs, services, education, outreach, and we are the largest nonprofit funder of Alzheimer's research. We provide support groups, educational programs, and one-on-one care consultations.
Talk about some of those fundraiser activities before we get into the walk. We're going to talk about the walk, but what are some of the other fundraiser activities that you do, that you host, and what are some of the things that the listeners can say, oh, wow, grandma or grandpap or mom or dad had Alzheimer's, and I've always wanted to support the search for a cure. What can they do?
Sure. So our second signature event is the Longest Day, which happens on the summer solstice. And what happens there is it's a create your own fundraiser, and it is supposed to represent that every day is the longest day for somebody caring for somebody with Alzheimer's disease. Specific to our chapter, we also have All Stars. The All Stars is our Pittsburgh Marathon running team. So if you're a runner, you can join us and be your charity of choice. We also do Wine to Remember. That happens at Narcissi Winery. This will be our second year. And that is a wine tasting event with some live music and silent auction.
Now, when is that going to happen? You caught my attention there.
Yes.
And I know everybody that's listening to the show, they just piqued their ears. Wine tasting. And I can support a great group and I can taste wine at the same time?
Yes. It'll happen at Narcissi Winery on June 12th, 2018.
Okay, very good. Now, Now, Carol, talk a little bit, and I would be absolutely remiss. I mean, where I work with the Westmoreland County Chamber, senior helpers, which is your day job, senior helpers was named the Business of the Year in 2015. So we know that you are with senior helpers in the work that you do. You're interacting with folks in a home setting. Most every day, and you probably see Alzheimer's all the time. So you decided to become or were elected chair of the walk this year.
Well, Chad, yes, probably about 9 years ago, we got involved with the Walk to End Alzheimer's because not only have I seen many of my family members be affected by this disease, but probably about half of our clients have some level of dementia and Alzheimer's. So we see how it impacts families and individuals every day. So throughout the years, I started out just being part of the committee and helping out wherever I could on the day of the walk, and just slowly got elevated to event chair, whether I wanted to or not. But we have a great.
Did you miss the meeting?
Yeah, so exactly. I missed the
happens.
meeting. They said, sure, Carol will be the next chair next year. But no, we have a great group of people. There's been a lot of the people on the committee that have been there for years. So it's a team where everybody gets together and everybody does their part, and it makes it very easy to bring the walk out.
Well, tell the listeners a little bit about the walk. I mean, what is the? I guess probably my guess would be is that the walk serves two purposes, right? You want to educate people about Alzheimer's, and you also want to raise money. So tell them how the walk started, where is the walk, all of those things.
Okay. Well, the walk, Brittany, there's how many walks across the state? 25 walks across the state?
Within our chapter, we have 25 walks, and we have 6 walks that happen in the 13 counties of the southwest region of Pennsylvania.
So your chapter covers 13 counties in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Yes, but we also cover the 59 out of the 67 counties apart from the Philadelphia area.
Okay, so 25 walks, are they all going to happen on the same day?
No, they happen between September and October, and our Pittsburgh walk is in November this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm involved with just the local walk, which is the Westmoreland Walk, which is held on Saturday, September the 23rd this year out at Twin Lakes Park, Pavilion 7, which is down on the lower lake by the, everybody kind of knows the floating stage out there. It starts at 8:30, registration, and we have a ceremony at 9:30 for our Promise Garden, which is always a wonderful thing. It talks about all the different ways that people are involved with Alzheimer's. So we'll talk about the people that not only have been affected by it with a family member, they may have lost somebody, people that are just out there advocating for it, caring for somebody. So it's a very important day for people to come out and know that they are not alone in this disease, so they can see we're going to have probably over 500 to 600 people out there. And so they get to come out and see that they aren't alone. There's other people who have been impacted by this disease. There's other people who have advocated for this disease. So it's a great day just to see who all here can be a part of the organization. And then obviously fundraising is the big part of it, because that's the way we can support all of those other things that Brittany already talked about.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB 107.1. I guess one of the questions that I have is that why would somebody walk? I mean, I guess maybe there's a listener saying, well, you know what, I support the organization. I'm just going to write the check and send it in. Why? Tell me why somebody says, oh, yeah, you know what, I'm going to get up on a Saturday morning and I'm going to go out to Twin Lakes and I'm going to walk.
Well, one big reason this year, not only is it fun to go out there, we actually have IHOP pancakes being made.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, so if you like IHOP pancakes, there's one reason right there just to come out. But yeah, we do. I mean, again, it's, giving money is one thing, but when you go out there and you see all the people that have been affected by it, it really just kind of strengthens your resolve to be even more committed to helping to end this awful disease. And one thing we're doing new this year is we have a Promise Garden flower that is white, which will signify the first survivor. So we're not just out here trying to raise money for the support groups and the education groups. We really are trying to help figure out what causes this disease and how are we going to end this disease, because by the year 2050, there may be 16 million Americans having this disease. That is going to be a huge impact on the cost of providing care. I mean, we see families now that are so impacted. In 2016, they estimated that there was about 18.2 billion hours of care provided by people with Alzheimer's. So coming out the day of the walk, you realize just how big this is, and I think it will inspire you to tell other people about it and get even more people involved in the walk.
Good. Well, I would imagine, when we're looking at the demographic information of Westmoreland County, by 2020, there's almost going to be, I think 28 or 30% of our population is going to be 65 or older, and that's the population that hits Alzheimer's, correct? I mean, the older population typically is the group that...
Right, yeah, and it's even more prevalent in people over the age of 85.
Right.
And we're living longer, so that's why, we're probably why we're seeing more people with Alzheimer's, because we are living longer.
So as our community gets older, this is going to impact us even more.
Right. It's going to impact how people can work, because they have to decide, am I going to pay for home care, or am I going to stay home to take care of my loved one? Spouses, and we already see that now, where spouses are trying to figure out how they're going to take care of their loved one and continue to work. Children, grandchildren are trying to figure out how they can all pitch in to help take care of people. So it's a huge impact on our community already.
So you talked about IHOP pancakes. I mean, we're sold. I don't know if we did, but I'm sure you did some other things, right? So you have some other benefits of the walk that you'd like to talk about.
Sure. So it's our largest way to raise awareness in the community. So even if you're just joining somebody's team of somebody that's a great way to start. And maybe next year you'll join your own team. Create that team, be a team captain, and be a leader in the walk to end Alzheimer's.
But you don't have to have a team. I mean, if I just, my wife and I just want to go out and walk for Alzheimer's, do I need to be a part of a team, or can I just sign up and go?
No, you can just register on your own. You can be an individual walker, so that's fine. You don't have to be part of a team. If you'd like to be, that's great, but you can just register online. If you go to alz.org/walk, and you put in your zip code, that'll bring up the nearest walk to you. Hopefully you'll be at our walk in Westmoreland County. But so you can enter your zip code, and they'll let you know where the closest walk is to you, and you can register as an individual. You can make your donation online. So if you go to that website, the alz.org/walk, that will give you all the information you need to find out how to walk and how to donate.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connection on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB and on the web at WHJBFM.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Welcome back. You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB and on the web at WHJBFM.com. I'm your host, Chad Amond, president of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce. Our guests today are two lovely ladies that work with the Alzheimer's Association. Brittany Coulter is the event manager for the Alzheimer's Association, and Carol Trent is actually owner of Senior Helpers that is based out of Greensburg, but she is kind enough to be the event chair for the Alzheimer's Walk in Westmoreland County this year. So ladies, before we went to break, we were talking about how the Alzheimer's Walk works. It's going to be held on September the 23rd at Twin Lakes. 8:30 is registration. There's going to be a ceremony at 9:30. So let's get into a little bit more of the agenda. What happens after the ceremony?
Well, the walk officially starts at 10 o'clock. And we go either on a 1 mile walk or a 2 mile walk. So it's up to the person to decide where they want to go. So we'll go the 1 mile loop up around the upper lake, or if you want to go around the upper and lower lake, it'll be a 2 mile walk. Even if you can't make that long of a walk, feel free to just come out, because there's lots of fun things to do other than the IHOP pancakes. There's a DJ out there that always has some great music going, so we usually get some line dancing going. There's all kinds of food donated by local people. There's face painting. And there's the Promise Garden. So there's lots of fun things to do, even if you're not able to actually take the walk.
Well, this sounds like a good way to spend a Saturday morning. Let's talk a little bit more about the ways to fundraise. I mean, do you set up a team? I think that we talked about if you were an individual, you can come to the walk. But if you wanted to set up a team and do some fundraising, I mean, how much do you expect a team to raise?
So you set your own goals. If you want to raise $100 to get your signature 2017 t-shirt, you can do so, or you can raise up to $10,000. There are some great ways to get involved at the beginning. If you're very new to fundraising, as the association, we do provide some materials that you can use for fundraising. A few of those are purple awareness bracelets and some point of purchase flowers. So those are the flowers that you see hanging up in stores that you write somebody's name on, and they maybe cost you $1. But it could be as easy as a bake sale, the whole way going out and doing a big event, maybe a night at the races, for example. A lot of our teams do give back nights at local restaurants. So you can go in and speak with the manager, ask them how much they would give back if you were to come for a couple hours. That's always a great way. We also, if you are registered online, have a participant center that you can send messages to your friends via email or social media.
Well, and I would imagine that social media plays a big role, right? Because in today's world, if you're doing the fundraising and you've got a team, whether it's family or friends, you've got to be posting this all over social media, right?
Yes, and tagging the association, the Alzheimer's Association Greater PA chapter, or using our hashtag #EndAlz is always a great way to bring that awareness, no matter what social
the social media
outlet.
Aspects.
There
right,
you go.
Right.
Snapagram
and InstaChat. Is that
yeah,
what it
exactly.
is, right? Carol, you've obviously stepped forward and are serving as the chair of the event, but you're expecting 500 to 600 people. I know you have to have a team. What goes into planning this event? Obviously, Brittany is the event manager, so you're playing a role. But from a volunteer standpoint, we tip our cap to you for stepping up as a volunteer. But talk about what goes into the planning of a walk like this.
It actually takes quite a long time. We really start planning for the next year immediately after the walk is over. So we may have 1 month of wrap up. And Brittany, don't we have another wine event coming up in Westmoreland after the walk?
Yes, we will have a celebration that will be posted on the site, and also we will have handouts at the walk.
Yeah, so there'll be another wine event. So if you missed the one in June or don't want to wait till next June, we have another wine event. But we could not do this without the large committee that we have, the planning committee that meets at least once a month. Everybody takes a role in helping to form teams, helping to get corporate sponsors, helping to just hang up posters and get all of those bracelets and flowers and things out to different stores and organizations, asking for donations so that we can get raffle baskets. That's another thing we have out there. So you can buy tickets to try to win a basket. But that core group that we have of those 15 to 20 committee members, we could not do it without them. Plus, we get other volunteers from out in the community that come out the day of the event. We get a lot of students or, ROTC kids or just, again, general people from the community that are interested in this that come out the day of the walk. So it's quite an undertaking, but we always say it's kind of like a wedding. It's a miracle that it all comes together on that day, that there's so many moving parts. Brittany and I have been flying emails back and forth to each other, and so it is. But without those committee members, we could never do it.
Well, what do you say? The folks that weren't part of the inner circle don't know the mistakes, right?
Exactly. It all seems to come out seamlessly on the day of the event.
Well, one of the things that I'm thinking about is that the folks that are listening to the show, because the show is going to air shortly before the walk occurs, and if they don't have time to get set up and form a team, or can they? I'm going to use air quotes. Can they walk in?
Oh, absolutely. They can come the morning of the walk and register. You can register online till how late, Brittany? How can you register online? Noon the Friday before. So you can still register online up till Friday the 22nd at noon. Otherwise, just come to the walk and register. And you can still fundraise until the end of the year. So don't worry about if you haven't had time to fundraise. You can still continue to fundraise. We're going to have a vendor show ourselves. The committee is putting together one on November the 11th. We're going to be having it up at the Courtyard Marriott, where we're going to be having some different vendors come out and do fundraising. So we're continuing to fundraise until the end of the year. So don't feel like if you've just heard about this, forget it, I'll have to wait till next year. It's not too late.
Now, you said that the teams set their own goal for the fundraising, so they can set it for $200 or $2 million, right? But is there a cost if there's a listener out there that says, you know what, Grandma had Alzheimer's, I want to support the fundraising for a cure. I'm going to get up on Saturday morning on the 23rd and go to the walk. How much is it to walk? I mean, how much is it to register and participate?
So registration is free, so anybody can come and register. We do have an incentive program that happens. So for the first $100 that you raise as an individual, you'll receive our official Walk to End Alzheimer's t-shirt for 2017. From there, we have incentives up to $10,000 for individuals.
But even if they raise $20, every little bit helps. So whether you've, put out a coin jar and, just collected your spare change out of your pockets for the year, we'll take that. So every little bit helps. It really, no amount is too small, but, there are great prizes if you collect more.
And there's also, I guess if you're talking to folks that are maybe don't have the dollars to fundraise, there's also a benefit for, I would assume, the Alzheimer's Association to spread the word about the good work that you're doing. And you had mentioned when we went to break that you have a call-in line. Is that a call-in line for folks that are suffering from Alzheimer's, or is that for the walk itself?
So this is our Alzheimer's Association 24/7 helpline, which is 1-800-272-3900. It's toll-free 24/7 helpline. It's available in over 160 languages and staffed by professionals and trained volunteers who provide information, emotional support, education, resource listing, and general information to callers. So those calls come into our Chicago office, but if you need help locally, like a care consultation, which is one of our services that we provide for free, they will send you to our chapter.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB and on the web at WHJBFM.com. We're talking with Brittany Coulter. She is the event manager for the Alzheimer's Association. We're also talking with Carol Trent, who owns Senior Helpers, which is a business based in Greensburg. But Carol is serving as the event chair for the Alzheimer's Walk in Westmoreland County this year that is going to occur on Saturday, September 23rd at Twin Lakes. It's going to kick off with registration at 8:30 a.m., a ceremony at 9:30, and the walk will start at 10 o'clock. You said that there's going to be IHOP pancakes, there's going to be a DJ, there's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. Sounds like a way to spend a Saturday morning.
Yeah, it is. It's always a fun event, and bring your kids, bring your dog on a leash, and enjoy being out there at beautiful Twin Lakes.
Ladies, thanks very much for being on the show. Is there anything else that you want to talk about with the listeners, or anything else that we missed that you need to share? Again, the 1-800 number for this is, there's two sides to this. the very serious side, which is the folks that are suffering from Alzheimer's and the families that are struggling with this, and then maybe we'll call that the fun side of the fundraising and really making an impact on a great organization. That 1-800 number for the folks that are interested in learning more about the disease itself is 1-800-272-3900. How do people get a hold of you if they want to participate in the walk?
So you can go online to the Greater PA chapter, which is alz.org/PA. We have a lot of our resources are right online for you if anybody needs, and there's also a link on there for the walk.
Thanks very much, ladies, for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB and on the web at WHJBFM.com. I'm your host, Chad Amond, president of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce. Please join us next week, same time, same place, when we make more Westmoreland Community Connections. Thanks for listening, everyone.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.